bet you it's whatever piece fell out and came out.
Think so?
That, like, more air is coming into the car.
It could be. Okay, you're live.
1 2 1 2 1 2. Let me know how the audio is on this road stream. A piece of my vehicle came off yesterday. I don't quite know what the piece was for, but we pulled over because all of a sudden it was getting very windy in the car, and like we were hearing the road a lot more, and we noticed something was dragging underneath the back bumper. So that's in the trunk right now. Colin took his screwdriver and went under the car and took out whatever piece this was. So that's in the back, that's in the trunk right now. But hopefully the audio is okay. I think you could hear more of the car and the road as we're driving. But maybe that adds a nice, I don't know, sound effect. A little more authentic, hearing more of the road. But smash that like button. Share this stream with others. Let's get this out to more people. The like button, the share button. Please hit us with your super chats because, Lord have mercy, driving through multiple states, this is day 7, gets very expensive. I think we've at least spent, what would you say on gas alone, 500?
At least.
Yeah. Gas has been 500, hotels, who knows, probably 700, 800. Food, you know, it's expensive, all of this. So super chats are appreciated. We'll read them. We would love to get some people to sign up as Status Coup members because we haven't had a ton of signups while we've been on the road. So, you know, the goal of Status Coup is to build, you know, grassroots through, you know, small dollar paid memberships, which really is our biggest source of revenue in terms of funding these trips. So hopefully we could get some signups while we're live and, you know, keep growing so we could do more of these reporting trips. But yeah, I would say it's been a successful trip. If the mission was to accurately show the true nature of our economy, the true nature of what I kind of tongue-in-cheek was calling the economic hellscape, but I really mean it now that I've seen it. I mean, I've seen it for years, but particularly now, I think we're living in a real bad economic time that is not demonstrated at all in the national media or the local media. I mean, we were talking earlier, it would be great and rewarding to do a documentary like Life on the Road and kind of do more of a documentary type thing on all these types of stories we cover and the people we interview and the stories, you know, on the road. But just to contrast that and then just show on any given day what the local media and the national media are covering compared to the misery and corruption on the ground, I don't know if I don't think a documentary like that exists, and I'd love to be the first. But yeah, this trip has been really illuminating. We have quite a bit of stuff that we haven't even published yet that we didn't do live. We just recorded it. So we'll probably have stuff for a couple days. There's interviews that we did that will probably premiere on Breaking Points through our partnership with them, which, God willing, it airing on their channel then brings a lot of their subscribers over to our channel to subscribe to Status Coup, because the goal, you know, that's really the point of that partnership, is to gain access to whatever they have. I think it's like 825,000 subscribers. I would say the overwhelming majority of whom have probably never seen Status Coup in their YouTube feed. So hopefully, as Crystal and Sagar air some of the interviews we did from this reporting trip, hopefully that brings people over to Status Coup as subscribers, and then of course, converting them to paid members. So yeah, I mean, before we take super chats, and again, smash that like button, share this live stream, I'll just say, as my wife could tell you, as Colin could tell you, I thrive, and where I feel, not in my personal life, but just professionally, where I feel most alive, not to be corny, is always when I'm on the road. It's not to say I don't like doing live streams or anything from home, but, obviously it's just a whole different animal when you're on the road, you're meeting people face to face, you're covering stories in their natural environment, you're learning all sorts of things and where the bodies are buried, and you get new leads for stories to investigate, like the story we broke yesterday in Huntington, West Virginia, of what can you call it other than a slum? That story we covered. So, this is where I get reinvigorated. This is where I feel kind of most in my element, I guess, is covering stories on the ground. And I will say that, there's a lot of talk. There's a lot of talk in the media and YouTubers and national media about, is a recession coming? I mean, you don't have to travel far on the road to know that we're already in a recession. It is a recession for most working people. When you combine the pandemic, which really economically battered people, on top of, obviously, just the grave loss of life, people having long-term problems with long COVID, but when you combine the battering people took through COVID, well, let me restart that. When you combine the battering people took in general in this gilded age we live in, before there was even a pandemic, people working multiple jobs, gentrification, rent and mortgages and housing prices going up. Then you add a pandemic to it, which, by the way, we are still in. I don't love these people who just say, oh, when we were in the pandemic. We're still in the pandemic. I'm just knocking on wood, hoping neither of us end this trip with COVID. I mean, we're both feeling okay now. Hopefully it stays that way. Then you add on inflation. I mean, at a certain point, it's like a boxing match, There's only so many, so many just punches you could take straight to the nose before you get knocked out. And that's the best way to put it, From Philadelphia, where we were covering the tenants that are facing eviction in a low-income apartment complex. The greedy landlord is trying to sell to a greedy real estate developer. It's a low-income unit with majority black residents. They're fighting back. There's a protest encampment on that property that we covered. Then Altoona, which is in western Pennsylvania, hearing stories of, mothers just scavenging around their house looking for change to fill up the gas tank because they have to drive their disabled child from Altoona to Pittsburgh every week, which is 2 hours back and forth, so that's 4 hours total. $150 a week she's paying. Just story after story. Young couple we interviewed in Cleveland that both got laid off a month ago and just found work, but the depths that they had to go to afford to pay their rent while they were both out of work. And obviously we focused on the houseless. And people wonder, why do you call it houseless and not homeless? I used to call it homeless, but an activist taught me that, the idea of home is home is where the heart is, right? Home is where the heart is. So you don't want to say that somebody who doesn't currently have a home, doesn't have a heart, right? So you just say they're houseless. They're not homeless, because home is where the heart is. It might seem like weird to you, but it makes, a lot of houseless people do not like being called homeless. So that's why I call it houseless. But interviewing that woman who's houseless in Akron, and we went to 2 different encampments. One of them was really bad. I mean, in the woods, just garbage everywhere. People in really bad shape. They're lucky that they were in the shade, but it's still, in 96, 97 degree weather, even though it's in the woods, you can still feel the heat a little bit. Talking and getting their stories was really powerful. And then, of course, West Virginia, which we've been for a few days. Just interviewing people about kind of putting a face to the actual victims of what Manchin has been doing. Not just Manchin, but obviously Manchin and what he has blocked for the people of West Virginia, the 3rd poorest state in the United Corporations of America. Interviewing, housing activists. Earlier today, we interviewed somebody who's houseless. A lot of houseless people just aren't considered houseless because they couch surf. They go from friend's house to friend's house, but a huge percentage of the houseless actually live on couches and kind of couch hop, which was the person we spoke with earlier, for it other than a slum. So, I hope you have liked the reporting and appreciate it. And I'd love to answer any questions, comments, super chats, and please, let's get some signups. We need some folks to sign up as paid members. As much as I love doing these trips, we're not going to be able to do it, into the future if we at least don't grow a little bit. So if you're not a member yet, please consider supporting this journalism, on the ground journalism, which humbly I do not see many other people doing. StatusCoup.com/join. You can become a member for $5 a month. Any super chats?
Yeah, we got a decent amount. First up is Denise Columbia with $5. Which method of donation gleans you the greatest profit? I know they all want a cut.
Well, membership is our first preference, because that's a monthly, that's recurring revenue. So if you ask me, Jordan, I haven't done anything. What do you want me to do? I want you to sign up as a member. If you're already a member, I would say PayPal is probably the best.
Yeah, PayPal or on the member site.
Yeah. So donation, PayPal, which is paypal.me/StatusCoup. They take a percentage, but it's not. YouTube takes a huge chunk while fucking us. So PayPal, or you could donate through the membership site if you're a member already, which is StatusCoupMember.com. If you're a member, that's where our members content, including behind-the-scenes videos, lives. We've done several behind-the-scenes videos from the road. We just published one this morning, too, for members. So that's StatusCoupMember.com, and once you're on the membership site, there's a donate button. So PayPal, the member site. You also could do GoFundMe as well. All those links are in our description. But PayPal or the membership site. And thank you for the super chat.
Nikki O'Brien, $9.99. Already a member and even bought a shirt and hat recently.
Woo!
Thanks again for your great journalism. Kudos to Jordan and Colin.
Speaking of, if you're a member, you could get this shirt only on the membership site. United Corporations of America. This is the alternative United Corporations of America shirt with Biden, Harris, and the other criminals where the stripes are. But I'm glad to hear you got the hat, the shirt, and are rocking the Status Coup swag. That's another great way for us to earn a couple bucks. So thank you.
J Pizza 304, $5. I appreciate you coming to West Virginia. Sorry I can't give more, but going through my own economic hardship.
I appreciate you giving anything. Thank you very much. And yeah, I mean, West Virginia, it's such a shame. It is such a shame at how corrupt your politicians are, from Manchin to Shelley Moore Capito to the governor, Jim Justice, because it's such a beautiful state. I mean, just driving through all these windy fucking highways, and your highways are pretty windy, but it's a beautiful state. You got the mountains, the waterways, the hiking. It's a really beautiful state, and it's a shame that corrupt, immoral ghouls are taking from the people and also destroying the planet. In West Virginia is the perfect state that could lead the country in green energy, renewable, wind. So it's a shame, but I always like going to West Virginia. I've been there. I think this is my third time, and I would even like to go back with my wife and my dog, just for like a mini vacation, because it's just great for the outdoors.
Real quick, Carla Harrington had a question. Any way to become a member without the automatic renewal clause? Yes, on the new member site, actually. I don't know if you can toggle the automatic renewal, but you can essentially become a member, and then you can click on your profile icon in the top right, and you can change your membership to the free version anytime, and your membership, you'll still have member benefits for the entire month you paid for. So you can switch back and forth between levels, between free and paid, to get access to the content.
Well, let's not encourage people to become free members. If you have,
you don't get any benefits as free, to be clear. It's just so you don't have to create a new profile.
Right.
Yeah.
But also, yes, so you can do it. And if you have any questions about that, email us at info@statuscoup.com. But like Colin said, you can do it where it doesn't automatically renew. And, if you just mark down when you sign up, if you a year later don't want to renew or need to cancel at some point, Colin, God bless him, is always on the email, info@statuscoup.com, and, can help you through that.
Paul Gibby.
Please sign up. Thank you.
Paul Gibby, $5. Buy yourself a gallon of gas. Thanks for reporting from the people.
Thank you, Paul. It's fucking insane. I mean, this is like a Toyota Corolla. It's not like, it's just a normal small car. And to fill it up is like $45-50 now. It's crazy.
Nikki O'Brien, $4.99. You feel alive because you're doing what you do best and helping others by seeking truth.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Absolutely. And thank you for the super chat.
Nikki O'Brien again, $1.99. Love your empathy. Earth is home to all.
Thank you. And I'm not gonna lie to you. It is it's not fun. It's not fun interviewing people that you could tell. When I leave, I'm going back to my life. Not that like I don't have any problems, but economically, I'm not like rich. I'm not poor. I'm not like hardcore struggling. So it's tough when you are in those moments interviewing people that you could tell how stressed out they are. You could tell how burnt out they are. You could tell in some cases how traumatized they are, depending on the interview and depending on the story. It's tough to like just stay focused in the interview and not kind of become depressed. I guess I'm just used to it because I've been doing this for a long time. But I'm glad to get these stories out, and it's very angering to me, and Colin has heard this from me on the road a lot. I get very angry that these people I'm talking to do not get contacted by the local media. I mean, what is the point of being a journalist locally if you're not going to go out and speak with the community? I mean, most of the time, I make a habit, wherever we are, to turn on the local news It's all like, murder or lemonade stands. Murder or lemonade stands. And, weather. There's very little focus on houselessness. There's very little focus on, struggling families. There's very little focus on just one-on-one interviews with people that are really struggling financially. The story I just did yesterday in Huntington, in that slum, the local media has not even contacted these residents. The local media is there. The residents are posting on Facebook about this eviction notice they've gotten and the uninhabitable living conditions, and the local media hasn't even gone there or contacted them. It's just, I understand why the local media and the national media are corporatized, and they exist not to cover these things, but to just cover it up. But it's just outrageous. I shouldn't have to do this. I like doing this, but I shouldn't have to. Why does it make sense that I have covered the Flint, Michigan cover-up, the water crisis and the cover-up? I don't even live in Michigan. More than the Detroit Free Press has, or the Detroit News, or the Flint Journal. There's something real. We talk about a broken system, but there's really something very, very wrong with our entire media system in this country. After we're doing interview after interview, most of these days are between the driving and the interviews. A short day is 12 hours. Most days are more 14, 15 hours on the road. And we get back, and it's like a 10-hour, you're watching in the morning to night, like on national media. It's like a 10-hour pregame for the January 6th hearings, and then a full day post-game for the January 6th hearings. And I'm just like, I think it's important. I'm not minimizing January 6th or the threat of, Trump and all that, but these outlets have way more resources than we do. They could be covering these stories and covering January 6th. They choose not to. Because the media, it's not just a problem with lack of diversity in terms of race. There's a major lack of diversity in the media in terms of class. Do you see many news anchors or news reporters that come from the ranks of the people we interview? No, you don't. You see mostly, highly educated, professional class, cosmopolitan, either decently wealthy or extraordinarily wealthy journalists and anchors. And none of these people have ever set foot. I promise you, none of these people have ever set foot in an apartment building like we did yesterday, with ceilings, with shit coming through the ceiling, and floors caving in, and black mold all over the carpet, the walls. Even with a mask on, it was hard. You could breathe in that black mold. And after some of the interviews we finished, when we went back to speak with the residents we interviewed, we saw people on oxygen. These are not 80-year-olds. You're talking people in their 40s are on oxygen in this place. It's just outrageous. It's just outrageous. And you want to know something? Let's call it like it is. It's not just corporate media. It's not just corporate media. We're lucky, and I'm very fortunate that Breaking Points is a partner of ours. They help offset the costs of some of these trips. And most importantly, they help by publishing on their platform, distribute our content to get more eyeballs. Because that's what we want. We want as many people as possible to see these stories. How are people going to change anything if they don't know what's actually going on? But aside from Breaking Points, Farron from Ring of Fire had me on during this trip, so I appreciate that. I think I'm going on with Ryan Grimm on the Hill on Friday to talk about some of these things, but it's most of the time major independent media hosts, you know, I'm lucky if they retweet what we're doing, let alone cover it. And separate from like when we're on the road, most independent media channels are not covering these things. They're covering, you know, whatever news of the day, what's trending, you know, food fights between YouTube hosts. You know, everybody likes some mindless shit from time to time, or some trendy, buzzy, or reactionary kind of stuff to react to. But it's just a shame because we have great hosts in independent media that could be bringing on people like we interviewed on this road trip on their shows, and you don't see a lot of that. What do we got?
Welcome new YouTube member, Shit Sandwich versus Giant Juice. No thanks.
Welcome.
Nice South Park reference. And then from the same person left a super chat for $10. You're one of the last true journalists. On the ground reporting is so rare. You're a true patriot speaking to the people. Happy to do my part to help.
Why, thank you. And by the way, folks, nothing to announce. But as we spoke about in the last members call, Status Coup members, you know, we have some discussions with our members that we might not have on YouTube. But we've been throwing around, you know, it's not definite, but potentially changing the name of Status Coup for a lot of different reasons. And we might have had a breakthrough on this trip. I was doing an interview with somebody, and she said something, and then I said something, and I said, holy shit, that's exactly who we are. Because part of why we're considering changing the name is when we launched Status Coup in 2018, we weren't expecting an actual coup attempt in America. We know that America helps engineer coups around the world, but we weren't expecting an attempt here. So there's been a lot of confusion, I would say, where people come to the channel, might not get what it is. We've gotten feedback, you know, some people think like, oh, are you like a Trumper or like a right-wing channel? On YouTube, I don't have evidence of this, but I'm pretty sure for YouTube's algorithm, just having the term coup in the title might not be so helpful. So we're not definitely changing it, but we're thinking about it. And in one of the interviews I did, I'm not going to get into it, but how badass is the name that I came up with?
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. So stay tuned for that. But thank you for the super chat and the kind words. You know, honestly, I got to tell you the truth. And this, I mean it when I say it. This is not meant to toot my horn, but I really can't think of many people that do what we're doing. And not only can I not think of it, but, you know, as I announced, I'm going to be taking some time off in the fall. Hopefully, I'm beginning to write an outline for a book on Flint. And, you know, I need time. I can't work on a book while doing live streams every day and everything else I'm doing. So I began the process of looking for somebody who might be able to fill in for me on the road. And it's hard. It's really hard to find it because they're, you know, if you're going to send somebody on the road for like, let's say a week, it's a lot. I mean, Colin can tell you that it's not only the interviews, you're booking, you're trying to line up interviews with people in multiple states. You're trying to find stories on the fly to cover. I am communicating with activists as we go that, you know, trying to interview them. They're sending me information. And then there's the interviewing, and, you know, you have to have a little experience in terms of asking questions, knowing, you know, what to ask, knowing how to get, you know, knowing how to get people to open up without trying to just get them to say, you know, sound bites, right? And just over the last few weeks, trying to find someone to go on the ground there's not a lot of independent journalists that have any on-the-ground journalism experience. There's people who are writers and have written good articles, and I like their voice in their article, but have no on-camera experience. Then there's people who have a lot of personality, but don't quite have the reporting chops, the experience reporting and vetting a story or building sources or, digging and going through. So it's not easy to find. And, other than Abby Martin, who obviously is more focused on the foreign policy end, on the domestic side, there's really not a long line of independent journalists who do what I do. And I know some people will take this and be like, oh, Jordan's being cocky. It's not that I think I'm so great. I'm literally telling you, I don't really know of a long list of on-the-ground people that are truly independent, that, have a bit of a on-camera presence, can carry themselves in an interview. So it's not easy to find. And that's a bad thing. We should have more people out there. And you want to know something? It's also not easy. It's not easy for people to do that, because I had the benefit of being a reporter at the Young Turks for 2 years. So I would have never grown and built an audience on my own, just like going out. I had the benefit of being with an already established, at the time, independent outlet. I don't know what they are now. And I was able to build my following through the opportunity at TYT. So it's also not easy for people to just, I'm sure there's people who would want to go on the ground and do this kind of report. Lucky in the beginning, just a viewer that I had at the Young Turks gave us an initial investment of $50,000, which literally was out the door the next day. Because $50,000, it helps us buy the cameras, at the time a live view, which is what we broadcast on. It helped me pay Ty at the time to come in as cameraman, and that was it. We didn't, the money went very quickly. And from there, it was GoFundMe and just taking reporting trips, some of which I paid out of my pocket, my savings. So anyway, that long-winded rant is, it's always crazy to me how few people do this kind of work.
Cup of Joy, $45. Please fill up your tank on me. Love you, Jordan. The people you interview deserve our attention. Thanks to you, Jordan. Thank you.
Thank you. And don't forget to thank Colin. You don't see it, but Colin is doing the Lord's work. And after a long day, after a very long day, because he's with me the whole day, when I get to the hotel, I lay my ass in bed, drink a beer or two, and he is uploading the footage, editing. So it's a very, very long day for Colin as well. And I've worked with some people who have really fucking shitty attitudes. I've worked with some people who are not pleasant to be around for several days without a break. And Colin is a breath of fresh air.
Humorous, $100.
Woo!
Gas for the day, Jordan. Keep up the good work, bro. No one else does this shit. We all have to give this man at least $2. No one does what he does. I can't support this channel by myself.
Thank you, Humorous. And by the way, shout out to Humorous, because Humorous, before we took the trip, gave a very, very generous donation that really took a lot of pressure off my shoulders. Because I've had trips where the fundraising is pretty shitty and we're losing money and I'm fucking stressed on top of doing the reporting, and I'm like, shit, we're like spending $4,000 and we've made like $500. And then like last minute somebody donates a nice amount. So thank you for your support on the live streams and the donation you gave.
Humorous with $5. Sorry, Jordan, I just don't have enough money to support a book. I just have enough money to give you gas and food once in a while.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And then another $10, 137 watchers, and no one could come up with $2 except for just a handful of people that gave more than they had to keep truth alive in America. Love you all.
Thank you. Yeah, honestly, it's tough. It's tough, It's tough. It's tough on multiple levels because number one, we have a distribution problem. We have 128,000 subscribers, but on this trip, the highest live audience we were getting was like 300 viewers. Some of the live streams, we were getting, 130, 140 live viewers. Now, some of that is, live streams earlier in the day, whatever. People are at work. Very rare that one of our videos or live streams gets recommended by YouTube, which when it's recommended, it then goes to people who aren't already subscribed. Even for our subscribers after the live stream. So we definitely have a distribution problem, which is not only us that has that, but I don't really know many channels that have had it as bad as we have had it. And then there's the fact that we are not, our audience is not Wall Street. Our audience is you. So people are struggling. So people can only give what they can give. For a ton of people right now, even $5 a month, it's just not possible with all their other costs. So, that's why we... Woo! Thank you, Carla. Welcome. It's like every time I see a new member sign up, it's like I'm a Jew, but it's like, Christmas or something. We need to grow our membership. And, there are a lot of outlets that ask people to sign up as patrons or whatever they call it. And they're mostly coming from a studio. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but what I am saying is there is a lot of studio commentary you could find. There is not a lot. I would say there's in my case extra until I get a negative COVID test. So I could be on the road between when I'm on the road and several days separating from each other. We could be gone from each other for 2 weeks, which is tough. We got a dog and other stuff. So Colin's wife, he's away for a week. So we love what we do, but we also have families and stuff, and it's not easy. So we thank them for allowing this.
Arlene Chambers, $25, Pulitzer Prize winning reporting, Jordan.
Why, thank you. My strong guess is I will never win a Pulitzer Prize, which I don't particularly care about. I think most of the awards that Pulitzer Prize winners win, if you compare the stories they do to the stories we do, some people have done great work and certainly deserve their awards. And then some people, you got me, how they won a Pulitzer Prize. But yeah, I mean, the system that awards Pulitzers and things like that is not for this kind of reporting. Reporting on poverty and homelessness and corruption, that's why independent media exists. We wouldn't really need independent media if the corporate media was covering these things. So I don't really expect to win a Pulitzer or any award, really. My award is really the comments I read. I read a lot of the comments under videos, and that's all the award I really need to see that people appreciate what we're doing. In some cases, it's not just that people appreciate it, but people really if I'm covering their story, people need it. People need attention on their lives and their struggles. So, I won't hold my breath to ever win an award, but that's okay.
Dorian, $4.99 super sticker.
Thank you. Yes.
Oh, good.
Super stickers are welcome.
Chris, $2. All I can give you till payday. Never downplay your work.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. But you know what? Let me actually say, for the record, some of these people who win awards, it does piss me off. I mean, I'm not going to name names, but some people who have won awards for what they have actually done, it's a real head scratcher. And yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Humorous with another $10. Darling, later he said it was, okay. Colin, buy 2 4-packs of Rolling Rock beer for everybody tonight. This is for you, buddy. You work hard.
Colin doesn't like beer, but he does like his tequila.
Yep, tequila is my thing. Nikki O'Brien with another $1.99. Thanks, humorous. Wish I could afford more.
Thank you. By the way, if you're watching, I got a text message like 3 days ago, okay? I got a text message 3 days ago from somebody in West Virginia, I won't say who, asking me to, while I'm on the ground, to cover the racism of the Democratic Party of West Virginia. Because there's been a lot of problems with racism of white members of the state of West Virginia Democratic Party towards black people, indigenous people, LGBTQ people, minorities in general, but primarily black people. And I'm actually, as far as I know, the only independent journalist that covered it in the first place. I covered it last year. There was a affirmative action committee in the West Virginia State Democratic Party. I did a story on a really outrageous meeting that was held, a Zoom meeting that I watched all 2 hours of, where they tried to vote on the affirmative action plan without allowing black members to vote on it. It was really outrageous, and as far as I know, I was the only one that covered it. So the person texted me wanting me to follow up on it. I didn't respond to the person, not because I was trying to be rude, but I'm juggling 15 things at once when I'm on the road. I have a lot of people I haven't responded to. I'm trying to line up interviews. I'm trying to figure things out logistically, so we're not driving, up to then go back down to go, trying to book interviews on a path that is drivable. We've probably driven over the last 7 days, what would you say, like 1,200, 1,300 miles at this point?
Yeah, well, minimum, because it's 5.5, so 1,000 minimum.
Yeah. So, whatever, I didn't respond to him. Then I do an interview Saturday night, I think it was, with 3 women, 2 of whom were black, one of whom was a member of the state party and was fired by the new chair, who is white. And we spoke about the racism of the the state party. Boy, did I got a text message from this person calling me telling me to go fuck myself, and I'm a white savior and a white grifter and all this shit. And I was just like, and I've gotten this before, not just from this person, but activists who are like, if I didn't cover what they wanted me to cover, or I didn't do 10 follow-ups, and it's just like, I'm fucking one person. And it was just, and I did cover it. I was the only person who covered it last year. And I spoke with, as part of the interview, I was asking questions on Saturday about the racism of the party. Marianne, who was high up in the party and was fired by the new chair, who's white. She spoke a little bit about that. So it was just crazy to get that message from this person, calling me like a white savior and a grifter and to tell me to fuck off. Anyway, that's a tangent, but you get colorful emails and messages from people sometimes who apparently think that you're their personal reporter and you must cover what they want, how they want, however much they want. So, anyway.
Venetia David with the 5-pound super sticker.
Thank you, from across the pond. What's this I hear that Boris Johnson is now thinking of unresigning? Did you hear this? Boris Johnson says he regrets resigning and wants to stay on if they'll have him. The plot thickens. But thank you for the super chat.
And we got Humorous with a $300 super chat.
Whoa! Holy cow! Humorous. Thank you so much. I got to get on the phone with you. You are really making a huge difference and really, really helping us fund this. So thank you so much. That's incredibly generous of you. I cannot thank you enough. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
He says, people don't think I have a ego problem, and I need this man to talk out for me. I actually believe in what he's doing. I also know that YouTube steals from him and me. I have stock in YouTube. What YouTube steals, I give back to Jordan through my dividends. Screw the United Corporations of America.
Thank you. And by the way, to be exact, Google steals from you and Google steals from me, because YouTube is owned by Google. And Google, if I say more, we might get banned. But don't get me started on Google and YouTube. It's really outrageous. It's really outrageous that a platform that calls itself YouTube has made it basically into FewTube. It really is FewTube. It's not you. It's a certain amount of, as they call them, creators will rise. Most of YouTube's top people are right-wing fuckheads like Ben Shapiro and Steven Crowder. YouTube says we're trying to get rid of, extremism and misinformation, but somehow widely shares the most extreme misinformers because the right-wing machine makes them a lot of money. YouTube is happy to recommend and share anti-vaxxers and COVID denialists, and the channels that grow and do well on YouTube are the ones that are the most reactionary, the most sensationalist, the most hot takey. And YouTube is not a place for real journalism. It's a place for corporate journalism. You will see, if you look at any given time on YouTube, if you click on the trending button, which for me is on the left, and then click on the categories for what's trending, news and politics, it's always like CNN, Bloomberg, ABC, the Washington Post. It's all corporate press that's trending. Why do you think that is? Because YouTube is stuffing people's feeds and feeding people corporate junk. So.
And D Nord with the $20 super sticker.
Thank you, D. Appreciate that. And I'm not going to look down. I don't want my wife to yell at me, but I do hope. Actually, I can look down because we're barely moving. Let me see if we got any members. We're in bumper-to-bumper traffic right now, so that's fun. Hold on. Yep, Carla signed up. So we got one new member today, so we need more than Carla. So again, if you've been on the fence, consider getting off the fence. Sign up, statuscoup.com/join. Join us as a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. $5 a month is 16 cents a day. And, if you pay $5 a day for Starbucks coffee, I think we give you a much better jolt than Starbucks. Think about the things you might pay $5 to $10 a month on that might not be as crucial as real journalism. For those that can't afford it, we understand that. It's tough times for a lot of people, so don't worry if you can't afford it. But if you can, we are built through membership. We don't really make a ton of money on YouTube. We make, we get a little money doing, call-in. Most of our funding comes from our monthly membership. So thank you to our members.
Do some quick donations, shout-outs that we might have missed. Through the member site, yesterday or a little bit ago, we had got a $100 donation from I actually don't know how to say that name, so I'm not going to try. But we got that, and a $20 donation from Cyrus today, actually.
Thank you to the person we can't pronounce for the $100. Very generous. Thank you, Cyrus, for the donation. Thank you to people who have donated on GoFundMe over the last few days.
Yeah, we got yesterday. We got 2 anonymous donations for $25 and $200.
Nice.
And
Thank you.
On PayPal, we got just got a donation today for $30.
Why, thank you. We really appreciate it. We know that everybody, donating is probably not rolling in it. So we very much thank you for the support. And it's really, if you think like we've been on the road for 7 days and we've been live pretty much every day, but we probably have, what would you say, like 5 or 6 videos that we haven't published?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
So we have quite a bit of content that we have not published yet, some of which we are saving for breaking points. They're probably not going to use all of it. So yeah, we're going to have a lot more content. Some days, Colin's too nice to tell me to fuck off, but some days I could tell when I was like, hey, we got another one. Another interview at like 7 o'clock at night after we already did like 2 or 3 and drove like 3 hours that day. We try to squeeze in a whole lot. And honestly, I would love, I don't know if my wife would let me, or Colin's wife, but I would love to do this for a month and do a documentary where we're on the road all over the country covering these kinds of stories, talking to people. Obviously, when you're on the road, certain stories might break that we could go cover, and then just simply contrast it to the media coverage happening at the same time, the national media and the local media. Can you imagine a documentary where we're showing, people talking, houseless people saying they're being hunted, people, talking about their having to scavenger around their home for change to fill the gas tank, protest encampments that are popping up that we covered in Philadelphia, tents popping up at an apartment complex to protest against poor tenants, mostly black tenants being evicted because of greedy real estate developers buying the property, and then split screen it with the coverage of the day, which would, in this case, was January 6th, January 6th, January 6th, or, if you're watching the morning shows, Pittsburgh Today show covering like whatever bullshit that was this morning. I forget, but might as well been covering the lemonade stand. I think that would make one hell of a documentary, personally.
And we got a D Nord with another $20 super sticker.
Thank you, D. Appreciate it.
And welcome new YouTube member, Flippant Cheris.
Welcome. We appreciate it.
And Humorous with a $5. It has to be funded, Jordan. It's important. You and Status Coup is important.
Thank you, Humorous. I appreciate it. And what we're seeing on the road, Humorous, is no laughing matter. However, it does need to be funded. And beyond just being funded, it needs to be elevated. And I would say this about anyone. Doing these stories. It's not just that we need to be funded. It's that, the thing that boggles my mind is you have kind of the YouTube, I like to call it like commentariat, all the YouTube hosts that do commentary and opinion. And they're mostly just like kind of reacting to like mainstream media articles or like what news of the day in the mainstream media. But I don't know, I think it would be great to watch commentary that's reacting to this, to what we're covering. And not just us, like I'm sure there's folks covering stories on the local level, on the community level, documentary filmmakers kind of on the ground, covering, corruption or injustice or health related things in communities. It just seems like a no-brainer that you would have people who, give sharp analysis and commentary every day, playing off of that and wanting to react to that. But other than Breaking Points, a few others, it's very rare. Very, very rare. So.
And we have Kylie is over it with a $100 super chat.
Whoa, Kylie. Thank you.
Said, you promised to replay Colin's most important election of our lives, Super Cup, for me and forgot. I'll get over it because of the amazing interviews on this trip. But you owe me my Colin time, and I'm a hashtag pissed off epidemiologist with long COVID, so don't test me.
Colin, I'm putting it on Colin to remind me. The next time we do a live stream from home, we're going to play that. So if you could remember that. And I am very sorry to hear about your long COVID. To me, I don't want to get into it as far as certain YouTube hosts that have done and said and pushed really reckless, horrible, ridiculous misinformation, dangerous misinformation. I'm sure you guys kind of can determine the types of people I'm talking about on COVID. But one thing that really bothers me about these YouTube hosts and tweeters and idiots who like to call COVID, it's just a cold, enough, you're addicted to panic and fear, and just make it out like this is, at this point, nothing more than a cold or no different than the seasonal flu. These are the same people who claim to champion Medicare for all because people are dying in this country. These are the same people who seem, at least pretend, to care about the health and well-being of people, right? Yet they're extremely dismissive of the fact that it's not just a cold for many, many people. Even for healthy people like you, there are long-term symptoms. One of the first interviews we did, we recorded it, it wasn't live, on this trip. We interviewed a small business owner, a bar owner in Philadelphia who's really struggling and might go out of business within the next year. And the person that helped me set that up has long COVID and has had it since 2020. And we were talking, and the conditions she has are brutal. And then, this is just anecdotal, but I called Johns Hopkins University Hospital, which is one of the top hospitals in America. I called on behalf of a friend of mine that has long COVID to see if I could help him get in there. You know how long the wait is for your first appointment at Johns Hopkins? This was a few weeks ago, so it might be longer now. They told me it's a year wait because they have so many patients suffering with long COVID. And you have YouTube hosts and out-of-touch idiots who don't even mention long COVID and just act like it's not a thing. Well, good luck to them. Hopefully they don't get it. Hopefully nobody they love doesn't get it. Because you got 4 or 5 different variants of Omicron spreading at the same time. And you have new information coming out all the time about COVID's long-term effects on the brain, long-term effects on your nervous system. I don't know. Forget COVID. Would you think it's a good thing to get infected by the flu 3 times a year? Do you think that would be good for your long-term health? So I'm sorry that you're dealing with those symptoms. Thank you for the super chat.
And Cat Faye Garrett with a $20 super sticker.
Thank you, Cat. Love the super stickers. Woo!
And we also got a new member sign up from Ronan.
Welcome, Ronan. Was that a YouTube or Status Coup member?
That's a Status Coup member.
Woo! Thank you, Ronan. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, by the way, just so you know, if you want to sign up as a member, our preference is through our website, statuscoup.com/join. That doesn't mean if you're a YouTube member, you need to cancel, and that's fine if you signed up through YouTube. But our preference is through our website, and that's statuscoup.com/join, just because, obviously, the less power YouTube has, the better. B, the only YouTube members, we cannot invite you to our monthly Zoom call, because when you sign up as a YouTube member, we don't have access to your email. So there's no way for us to contact you and send you the link, the Zoom link for our members call. Whereas if you sign up through our website or Patreon, we have your email and can send you the Zoom link. So that's the main difference.
We're all caught up on everything.
All right. So we are in bumper-to-bumper traffic on our way back to the tri-state area. Colin is flying back to Texas tomorrow. So his journey is not over. Again, we have a lot of content we have not published yet. I'm going to go through some of the content, because obviously, not some of the content, all the content, because obviously we want to kind of make a montage video of the whole trip and try to get that to go viral. I'm also going to try to get on some shows, because honestly, at this point, our only real chance of getting new eyeballs to the channel is when we get on other channels, either with me as a guest or just getting them to cover the content, cover the stories we're covering, and urge people to subscribe. Anytime, for example, Kyle Kalinske has covered our stuff, we've had 500 to 1,000 new subscribers to the channel. Breaking Points, we've always gotten new subscribers to the channel. Going on Ring of Fire the other day, we got about 100 new subscribers to the channel. Without that, unfortunately we're rarely getting new subscribers. That's YouTube's algorithm is not sharing our content with new subscribers. So when the trip physically ends, it's not over. We're still going to do stuff for the trip. Hopefully there's nothing major that breaks, because there's always another mass shooting or something horrible around the corner, unfortunately. Any others?
No.
So what else? I think, it's end of July, then you have August. Oh, well, I do have another Flint bomb in the works. Unfortunately, it's currently sitting with the outlet we're doing it with. Unfortunately, a lot of times for these investigative stories, when you publish it in a bigger outlet, you're kind of at the mercy of their editors and their lawyers who have to approve it. But I'm very much hoping that this next Flint story breaks soon. My hope was that it would have been published this week, because we could have just, extended the trip by a few days and gone to Flint with this story published. But unfortunately, we couldn't get it published while we were on the road. So, whenever it gets published, but it's pretty scandalous. Every Flint story I've been able to break has been scandalous, but I got new information that is a lot. Let me put it that way, a lot. And I'm beginning to outline a book of Flint. My tentative title is The Real Watergate, with water all capitalized, inside the biggest government cover-up of the 21st century. Hopefully, a publisher would be interested and would like that headline, like that book name, because I'm kind of in love with that book name. I don't want to self-publish it. I want to get it published and writing a book outline is apparently a big pain in the ass. So it's a lot of work, because I have to go through like 6 years of reporting and watch a shit ton of videos to kind of like re-jog my memory of everything, just to kind of outline everything and figure out what do I want chapter 1 to be, what should chapter 2 be, 3, 4, et cetera, which not just weaving in the reporting, but also the human stories. So I'm going to be working on that for the next couple weeks. And then in the fall, as of now, I think around November, I'll probably take a month or 2 off, maybe longer, to really just dedicate to writing a book. Because for those that have written a book, you can't write a book while you're doing daily live streams and other stuff. You got to really focus on the book. So that's my next thing. And who knows, hopefully we could get back on the road relatively soon. Any other questions, comments, concerns before we go?
Looking right here if there's anything to do. Oh, Shit Sandwich said that they'll subscribe to the website as well.
Thank you, Shit Sandwich. I would say you are a delicious sandwich with that kind of support. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Let me just check the members.
We are in bumper to bumper traffic for those that are mad at me. We're not.
My members. Oh.
We're not really moving. Thank you. Oh,
Yours
hold
is
on.
broken too.
Who broke it?
I think the site's down.
Oh, great.
Well, the app is down, I should say.
Okay. So, yeah, we can't give member shout-outs at the moment, but keep signing up and we'll shout you out next time. I don't know what's going on, but we have a sea of red, which means traffic. Must be an accident. I'll tell you what. I do like driving and being on the road, and we've been listening to Road Trip Radio, but it's exhausting. These days are fucking exhausting. So be happy that you're watching and not driving with us.
Shit Sandwich said the site is down, so
Okay.
it should be up. I assume that's a Wild Apricot. That's the company that runs the site, so it's usually up within a couple minutes if this happens.
Yes. So don't be discouraged. When it's back up, please sign up. Does that happen a lot?
No, I've seen it happen like once a while ago.
It's a conspiracy. Who knows?
One more time.
I would love to put on my favorite channel and have you sing along with me, but then we'd get copyrighted on YouTube. So
Yeah. That's kind of stuff.
what are you gonna do? All right, folks. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Probably take tomorrow off, but we'll have, we'll be publishing videos, just not be live. I might be off, not live tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Tuesday and Wednesday? We might take off Tuesday and Wednesday live, but still be posting videos and then get back at it later in the week. Thank you so much for these super chats. It really, really helps us. Thank you to the people who signed up as members. Thank you to the people who donated in very, very generous amounts on YouTube through Super Chat, on GoFundMe, on PayPal. To the people who donated smaller amounts, thank you as well. It takes a village, as they say. It really takes a village to do, grassroots, on the ground, what I like to call guerrilla style journalism. And I would not have it any other way. Honestly, yeah, it would be nice to it would theoretically be nice to be doing this for a larger network like a Young Turks that had the resources, but not the Young Turks, but a broader network that had the funding, that we didn't have to worry about the money. We didn't have to worry about, growing it. We could just focus on the reporting. But unfortunately, there's not a lot of larger independent or corporate networks that care enough about these kind of stories to fund it. So that's why we do it ourselves. And we'll continue to, as long as you help us do it. So thank you again. Thank you to Colin. And stay tuned for more of the interviews and the on-the-ground stuff we have done that we'll be posting over the next few days. Take care.